I think it's safe to say that we all want to feel important, or at least want to be acknowledged for the things that we do best, while we're here on earth. But the sad truth is, we're not just special just because we're born, because everybody is born. So that by default doesn't make us special. Reality is, you have to put in some type of grind, some type of work in order to separate yourself away from the masses. You know what I mean? Especially as a man. Maybe as a woman, you have some type of privilege of just existing and getting some type of attention, whether warranted or unwarranted. But as a man, to separate yourself, you have to put in some type of work. And I believe as a man, you should invest in yourself. And every man's goal should be for him to get the world to see his perspective. Because I'm pretty sure if you ask a lot of men, they think they're unique. They think that they're unique. They think they have something to offer that most people just don't offer or see it in the way they see it. But the truth is, you have to put in some type of work to do that. You know what I mean? Just because you exist doesn't mean that people just automatically going to see you for who you are and know who you are as a person. That's for you to put yourself out there, kind of like how I'm doing right now, in order to get the validation that you kind of seek. And not validation like you need people to see what you're doing to feel accepted, but just showing people like, hey, like, I do this too, or I'm special too, or I got some type of value to offer too to the world. I'm not just here just going through the motions, being a NPC in a video game. You know what I mean? And the crazy thing is, people nowadays are scared to put themselves out there because they think a lot of the things going on right now are too saturated, or it's too late for them to start. But there's two ways you can look at it. You know what I mean? You can look at it, if you think it's saturated, it is saturated. But the way I look at things is always half full. So within a bad situation, you can find the good in it. So yeah, it may be saturated, but who is it saturated by? If you look at a lot of media and just influencers out there, it's the wrong type of influence. You know what I mean? The more people try to get fame and notoriety and money, the more faker they're becoming. And that's where you can separate yourself, because more people are just becoming more fake. They become more fake because they're doing things in order to get money. They're doing things in order to get clicks rather than being their true selves and getting an organic following. They want to get the quick money. They want to help them get the quick viral clip. But just you taking the stairs and you being real to yourself, separate yourself off the rip. And then from that standpoint, it just takes consistency. But you can have something now for a moment, or it can take a little bit longer, but you have it forever. And that's how I feel about overnight success. You see a lot of people who are shown to be special, you know what I mean? They blow up overnight, and then you don't hear them no more. They might have one hit viral song, one hit viral skit. You might see them in one clip in a movie or a video, but then after that, everything spirals. Because the more saturated things come, and the more people see other people's lives and they want to compete, or they want to skip all the steps to get to where they got to faster, they're willing to compromise their morals and integrity, not thinking that they're going to have to face that later on in life. So you can be special. And if you feel you're special, I'm right with you, because I feel I'm special too. But I also understand that I can't just say I'm special just because I'm special. I got to make videos like this. I got to put out content with value in it to show the importance of my words, just the wisdom I have, and just me as a person for people to connect with. Because people are really buying you. They're not really buying what you have to offer, because there's nothing really new under the sun. The content I'm making, a lot of people are making. You know what I mean? The topics I'm talking about been around. I'm not inventing nothing new. But it's who the messenger is. It's who the message is coming from. And that's who people are going to connect with, because people can see themselves in you. But you have to be your real authentic self. You know what I mean? If you go up the borders being fake, being somebody you aren't, you run the risk of maintaining that character forever, and it's going to be uncomfortable because it's not really you. So it's going to eat up at you sooner or later, or people are going to find out you're fake, and that's going to draw traffic away from you. So it's best to just take the stairs, be authentic, and gains people respect, trust, validation, notoriety the right way, giving them value, and so they can really see what type of person you really are. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I do believe we all are special, because if you think about it, just literally, like, there was a millions and millions of sperm cells that could have hit that egg, and if another sperm cell would have hit that egg, that's not saying it would have been us. And it's crazy to think of it like that, but that's just the reality of the situation. You know what I mean? So technically you are special, but just in a world to where by default you're average because we're all taught to do the same thing. We're all taught to fit in a box. And when you're trying to go off the rails and being yourself to show people your point of view and to gain their trust authentically, you're going to get looked at as weird. You're going to get looked at as crazy. But then after you cross that hurdle and cross that bridge, you're seen as a genius. So that's another thing you got to worry about when you're going through to show people your perspective. Once you put yourself in this game, understand that things are going to be thrown in your way to deter you away from your goals or deter you from being who you really are. There's going to be opportunities that come up for you to take shortcuts, but you just have to understand the long game. You know what I mean? Because life is really is a game of chess and not checkers. You know what I mean? It's about the long game. And nobody cares about who won right now. You know what I mean? Nobody cares about in high school who the jock was, who the star quarterback was. Where is he at 10, 15 years later? Because if he was a star quarterback and he was a stud back in high school, but now he's homeless, nobody cares. You know what I mean? So just understand that you have every right to want to be special. You have every right to want to stand out and show the world who you truly are. You know what I mean? But just understand that it's going to take work, it's going to take time, and it's going to take consistency. But you'll build something over a foundation over time that's steady. You know what I mean? Very, very solid. Rather than a group of people that's here one day and gone after the next day once you're doing something that they don't agree with.